Hey kids, it's Piston Fly here, hope you're well. Out and about on the trusty Honda CRF today. Absolutely brilliant little bike this, I don't ride it enough and it's an absolute hoot. Anyway, just out for a bit of a ride and a rant on this absolutely hideous spring day. It's the middle of April when I'm recording this, and just look at this weather, it's 7 degrees and foggy. When is summer going to come? Anyway, stick around and stay tuned if you want to have a bit of a whinge with me. Okay, actually, hopefully it won't be too much of a whingy video because I'm actually just quite pleased to be out and about on the little CRF. One of the unintended consequences of doing this YouTube malarkey, once you start to, get a few more subscribers and viewers and take it a bit more seriously, is you ride an awful lot of new bikes, which is great fun, and, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but it does mean you don't ride your own bikes very much, and the bikes that I own are some of my favourite bikes that are currently available, and so it is kind of ironic that I don't get to ride them that often. And the little CRF, which I bought primarily as a dirt bike, it is what they call a dual sport bike, it's for riding off-road, green lanes, that sort of thing, albeit it's not a particularly hairy off-roader. But this is a bike that I do, every time I jump on it, I think to myself, why don't I ride this more? It's such good fun, this bike. In the way that supermotos are fun. Of course, it's only 250cc, so it's not going to get you anywhere particularly quickly, but the thing just feels comfortable to ride. I've got heated grips installed on here, so even though it's only 7 degrees today, it's actually pretty comfy. My hands are nice and toasty, and it's just an absolute hoot. It'll go anywhere, it's cheap to run, brilliant little bike, and really enjoy getting out and about on it. And it gets me thinking really too, how come I'm having so much fun on a 250cc machine? And it's back to that whole thought of, how much power in a bike is enough. Now I would argue on UK roads, you don't need a lot more than 250cc if you just need to get around. If you're using a motorcycle for transport purposes, then 250 is about all you need. Here I am, look, I'm doing an indicated, actually 66 miles an hour, although this speedo reads a bit high on here because I've got a different sprocket on the front of the bike. I'm probably actually doing about 60. But I'm keeping up with traffic, doing 60 on the road, no problem at all. And there's loads more that the bike's got to give. So yeah, it's not a thrill machine that, on a sunny Sunday you're going to go ripping through the back road of Wales on. But for getting around, you just don't really need more than that. I suppose, actually, if I was honest, a little bit more would be quite nice. It would be nice to have enough in reserve to make overtakes very easy. So perhaps sort of 350, 400cc if such a category existed. I suppose it does in some respects, but they're not popular bikes in this country for sure. That would be the sort of minimum size you can get away with. It really is a filthy day. Let's just give you a bit of a clean. I hope you can see okay. It's my visor's getting really fogged up, so I'm not sure what the camera's going to be like. So that is not to say these smaller bikes aren't fun by any means. In fact, again, I would argue that being able to use a smaller bike to its full capacity on the road is actually more fun than just using a fraction of a bigger bike's capacity on the road. I own some bigger bikes too, and as much as I love those bikes in the right context, you can't use all their power on the road because you'd just be doing stupidly illegal speeds. In fact, on my Panigale I can break the fastest speed limit that there is available in the UK in second gear alone. Whereas on this, I can absolutely flog it, throttle wide open, and not doing silly speeds. So the other advantage of that, of course, despite what that sign just said, as he now slows down rapidly, is that you're not going to get yourselves into trouble with the law. Or not as easily anyway. Your driving licence is going to be in much more safer hands. Listen to this thing, I mean, who couldn't have fun on a bike like this? Love the CRF. One of the questions I get asked quite a lot via my YouTube channel from new riders or people that are considering becoming motorcycle riders is which bike should I get first? Now, I did make a video some years back called something like how to choose your first big motorcycle, so if you're interested in that subject, Google it and hopefully my video will come up. But basically in that video I said, you know, when you learn, don't be in a hurry to get on the biggest motorbike possible. Start off with something a bit smaller, learn your craft, and then move on up. And I think I recommended a bike of about 600cc as a first big bike. And I still think that's about right, although these days there are other options available, things like the KTM Duke 390 and stuff being brilliant fun bikes, and indeed the CRF that you can start off on and learn your craft and have a lot of fun at the same time. I know it's super tempting as a new rider to just go for the latest and greatest big bike because they look amazing. You know, you see the magazines and you see the R1s and the Panigales and think, yeah, that's a beautiful bike. I wonder, you know, I'm sensible, I could handle that, let's go for that as my first bike. Well, I just think that's a mistake. And not only that, you're missing out. Not only are you potentially putting yourself in danger as a new rider going for one of those highly performant bikes, but actually these smaller machines do teach you how to handle a bike in terms of, you know, maintaining momentum, cornering, etc. There's a lot to be said for learning your craft on a smaller machine. But don't get me wrong, you will get fed up with a smaller machine, probably in your first 6 to 8 months of riding it. Certainly I did. So the idea would be to buy something that's maybe not brand new, but get something second hand that you can shift on within 6 months, and you wouldn't lose any money on it, but you will have learnt your craft and you will have understood how bikes work. Because if you're a new rider, even on something like this, a 250cc machine, which sounds small, these things can do you some harm if you don't know what you're doing. So you've got to be sensible about it, is my opinion. But I guess the message I'm saying is don't be disheartened or think that this starting small is a bad option, because actually there's a lot of fun to be had on smaller bikes. Unlike smaller cars like this Citroen C1 in front of me. There could be no fun whatsoever driving that, surely. I'll now stand by for all the C1 owners to send me some hate comments. Actually, I do take it back. I recently bought my daughters a one of those little Fiat 500s, you know, the little retro Fiats. They're really cute little cars. And I found myself driving that an awful lot. It's great fun to drive, actually. It's cute inside and out, and it's just so easy to park. I've been driving that more than my own cars. So maybe the Citroen C1 is a great car, I don't know. I apologise to any C1 owners out there that I may have offended. I take it back and wholeheartedly and reservedly apologise. Man, the heated grips on this little CRF are absolutely brilliant. I've got the these are aftermarket heated grips. You can't get them as an option on the bike, but this is the little control here. If I remember right, these are the R&G grips that I put on here. I fitted some of these once to a previous bike I had as well. When I used to have a Yamaha XJ6, I fitted some of these, and I was well impressed with them on that bike. They never let me down, they never went wrong, and I had them for some time on the bike. So when I got this, I fitted these on here, and I have to say they've been brilliant. If you haven't got heated grips on your bike, and you're thinking maybe you should get some, I do recommend these. I have no links with R&G, you know, they don't pay me anything, but I just think these grips are theirs are brilliant. There's something like, I think they're about 50 quid or something to buy. Quite easy to fit. And I've had these on here for, well, how long have I had the CRF now? It must be 3 or 4 years. I did have a problem at the beginning of this year. I use the heated grips extensively. The CRF is a bike that I do ride quite a lot in the winter compared to my other bikes. And this year I noticed that the right hand grip wasn't getting warm. So when I had a look at it, I noticed that the actual, you could see that the wires had frayed around the grip here. So I got in touch with R&G, and for 17 quid they sent me just the right hand grip and a new lead. So I just popped that on, routed it back under here, connected it up, and here we go again. I'm running again for hopefully another few years. So absolutely brilliant, well worth the money. I'll look them up, and I'm pretty sure they're R&G, I could be wrong, but I'll find a link and stick it below. If you're interested in some heated grips, I recommend those. Oxford do some too, I know. I've never used theirs, I'm not too keen on the big blue button that they have, but they do them in various flavours. But I found these ones, even though they're probably the cheapest ones on the market, to work absolutely fine. Whilst I'm singing the praises of smaller bikes and the CRF, this, you know, it's morning here, it's just gone 9 o'clock when I'm out and about, so it's kind of back end of the work rush, if you like. I'm coming to Aylesbury here. Let's just give you a little wipe. And just sort of underlines to me again what a great little bike this would be as a commuter. Brilliant for nipping through traffic. It's lightweight, it's nice and narrow. For those bikes you can weave through little gaps. You're never going to get into a position on the CRF where you think, uh-oh, I'm not going to be able to get the bike out of this. Just a brilliant little bike as a mode of transport, and I recommend it to the house. Also, you sit quite high, so you get a good sort of view through the traffic and over the top, so you can see what's occurring from a traffic point of view. Right, that's about it for today. Not much more to say. It was just I thought it was going to be a bit of a whingy video when I started. It didn't turn out to be at all. It turned out to be all about why small bikes are good. So I hope you agree. Do leave me some comments below if you agree or disagree on my analysis about small bikes and maybe what you should ride to start with. That'll be interesting to hear your views. And I look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Missenden Fly. Cheerio. Oh, roll on summer. I've had enough of this stuff. Sunshine, where are you?